Y ya luego yo nada más llego así, fuerte, así, un carácter pésimo, y nada más yo estaba acostada en la camilla. Yo quedé así, suspirando fuerte y ay, adolorida. Decía yo, ¿qué fue esto? ¿Qué me metieron? Yo saber dónde era el dolor, qué inflamado tengo el ovario, porque si es doctor, me tiene que dar toda esa explicación.
¿Y no te la dio?
No me la dio.
To what he explained to me, it was a cyst removal. I wake up confused, like, where am I at? You know, why am I in so much pain? Why does he hurt so much? I don't know. I mean, to me, it was already like, what am I doing here? Because I asked for help for my hernia. Why am I here?
These women are still trying to understand what happened to them. They were held at the same immigration prison in Georgia, and they were seen by the same doctor.
How many other women were there, you think, that went through the same thing or a similar thing?
It's not just me. There's a lot of girls.
We all gathered up and we put two and two together for Dr. Amin. I'm like, there is something not right here, ladies.
You just took us as cattle, you know, like, okay, I'm almost done with this one next. You know, like, we're not cattle, we're people. We deserve justice. Somebody hear us out.
It feels like the Irwin County Detention Center is far away from almost everything. We came to the rural town of Ocilla, Georgia, which is 3 hours south of Atlanta, to look into allegations of medical abuse. Last December, 14 women who were incarcerated here filed a class action lawsuit against the prison, the doctor, and Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. The complaint alleges that a gynecologist at a local hospital subjected incarcerated women in his care to unnecessary procedures without their consent. More than 30 women gave sworn testimony that they endured medical abuse from the doctor, Mahendra Amin.
Si tú hablas, te van a deportar.
And some women claimed they faced retribution after they spoke out. Several of the women described the doctor as rough, and some said they left their appointments bleeding or in pain.
Quedé traumada.
We shouldn't be treated like soulless human bodies walking around.
Amin denies all the allegations. In statements to the media, his lawyer said Amin always treated his patients with the utmost care and respect. Maribel Castañeda was one of Dr. Amin's patients, and she's a plaintiff in the lawsuit.
It's almost been a year, you know. I'm still not back to normal. I still have a lot of problems.
Last summer, Maribel complained of a painful umbilical hernia and was taken to see Dr. Amin.
He makes you sign this paper, you know, because it's like a couple of us, so it's like a rush. Like, sign here, sign there. You don't have a chance to read everything.
She had a vaginal ultrasound and pap smear that left her in pain.
I've had kids and I've had pap smears done, and it wasn't as painful as this one. So I asked him about my hernia because that's the whole issue. That's the only reason I approved to go see this person. He's like, I don't have nothing to do with hernias, you know, but you have a cyst. There you go.
A group of doctors who later reviewed Maribel's medical records said Dr. Amin carried out multiple invasive procedures on her. But she says they were never fully explained to her. One doctor who reviewed her records concluded that the surgery was unnecessary and carried significant risk.
I mean, normal doctor, they wait 6 months to see if the hormones and stuff break down the cyst. August, he seen me. September, I was already having a surgery. Within a month, he was already giving me the surgery. And then after the surgery, time went by and nothing. They wouldn't even give me a follow-up. I had to ask for a follow-up. I kept asking for a follow-up.
And you still don't know what happened? Exactly the procedure they did to you?
Apparently, he gave me a DNC, I think it's called. And he like literally scraped most of my uterus. Like I have a really thin layer of uterus. I don't know, it's a lot of questions that I don't have answers to, and that's something I'm gonna have to live for the rest of my life. Like,
from the minute I pieced together the various charts and looked at each woman's story, I realized that there was a pattern of inappropriate evaluation, inappropriate recommendations, and surprisingly repetitive claims for each patient, even though they were obviously very different people.
Dr. Sarah Immerschein is an obstetrician gynecologist who reviewed the medical records of 5 women from Irwin County who saw Dr. Amin.
Well, it doesn't surprise me that the patient reports that the doctor was rough and it was painful, but a pelvic ultrasound shouldn't be painful.
Shouldn't be painful.
Uncomfortable maybe,
But
not usually painful. For every patient, he wrote pelvic pain, abnormal bleeding, and he had the same diagnosis, ovarian cysts and large fibroids. The interesting thing is that normal, functioning, reproductive age women normally make cysts every month in their ovaries. So cysts are normal. None of the sonograms reports that I read ever indicated a cyst that had a worrisome finding, either by size or by description. These were all reproductive age women, and unless they are really very sick, we will evaluate this over a period of several months and ask the patient to try various remedies. Frequently, surgery was recommended almost immediately.
Why do you think he was recommending this extreme care that didn't seem to be necessary?
Well, I can't speak to his thinking, but looking at the charts and doing a little online research myself, I realized this was likely to be a financial thing. This physician was repeatedly recommending unnecessary tests and invasive procedures for which he would likely be paid, and for which the patients were not likely to benefit.
We tried to find out how much money ICE paid Dr. Amin or the hospital to treat the women, but so far they have not released those records. Over the years, immigration detention has become a big business. We've arrived at Irwin County Detention Center, the place where the women we spoke to were held. Nearly 80% that are arrested by ICE end up in places like these. They're for-profit prisons run by private companies. This one is run by LaSalle Corrections. Hi, sir.
I've got the guard line marked. I'm David Polk.
This is the warden of the prison, David Polk.
Didn't realize.
We've been trying to speak to you, sir. Can we interview you? I'm a lucky person because I just run into you.
Not that lucky.
Why
Because I'm not.
Because you're not talking.
I'm not going to make any statements.
Warden Polk declined to speak with us, instead directing us to ICE. ICE declined to answer our questions, citing pending litigation. As far back as 2018, an attorney for an incarcerated woman notified Warden Polk that her client found an appointment with Dr. Amin so painful and traumatic that she was scared to see him again. But allegations didn't become public until September of 2020. A nurse at the Irwin County Detention Center testified in a federal whistleblower complaint that she witnessed medical abuse and negligence, including in the prison's handling of COVID-19. Months earlier, women being held in the prison released these videos pleading for help.
My initial prompt to speak out was COVID. The detainees or immigrants weren't allowed masks. We were not allowed masks. They were saying that COVID was not in the facility.
The nurse's complaint included claims of a high rate of hysterectomies, but according to the Irwin County Hospital, Dr. Amin has only performed 2 since 2017. The allegations now center on whether the gynecological procedures were necessary and if the women consented to them. When did you first start noticing that there was something strange going on?
We were sitting in the medical records room one day, myself, my nurse, another nurse, and a supervisor. And the nurse that sat beside me said, "Is this all he do? Everybody that goes to him gets a procedure?" And the supervisor rolls out and said, "Girl, that's all he do. He making that money." So hearing that and them coming to me, it was like, wow.
Dawn Wooden has worked as a nurse for 11 years and worked several different times at Irwin County Detention Center. She says she built close relationships with a number of the women she cared for there.
They give me their numbers and say, hey, I had a procedure done, can you check into it? So it's gonna be in the system and it's gonna be documented to say they had such and such done. So you go back, hey, you've had a tubal or you had a DNC. You go back and they're like, well, I didn't consent to that. And I'm looking at them like you're looking at me like, what just happened? What did I miss? Coming home and I have a 20-minute ride and I'm in tears like, am I gonna have a job tomorrow? Am I not gonna have a job tomorrow? What do I do? How do I handle this? And then it automatically clicks, hey, you're a nurse. You're caring for somebody else.
Dawn says she was demoted from her job a couple of months before the whistleblower complaint because she objected to how the prison handled COVID-19. And she says since filing the complaint, she hasn't been called into work and has relied on unemployment benefits. LaSalle Corrections did not respond to our list of questions or request for an interview.
It's an emotional burden to where I know life happens, and it happens to us in some of the most strangest ways, but I never thought that it would be to the point to where I would be at this unemployed place, that I would be seeking help.
Was it worth it?
I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it for anything. I would blow the whistle 1,000 times over if I had to. And I say that because I have children and family members and relatives that I would want somebody to look out for as well. So the sacrifice is well worth it.
Hoy vengo ante ti como una vasija.
Kanan Jacqueline Reyes Ramirez is back home in Carrollton, Georgia, but her time at the Irwin County Detention Center is still weighing on her. Her mom took care of her 5 children during the 10 months she spent in prison.
Tu mamá fue súper que te ayudó muchísimo, ¿verdad, doña Juana, con todo esto?
Aunque yo sufría ya, pero tenía un poco de consuelo de que ella estaba con ellos.
Canta, hijo.
Kanan fled Honduras more than 5 years ago to escape an abusive partner. In January 2020, she was arrested following a car accident.
Créeme que nunca había pasado un trauma tan así. Para mí es algo aterrorizante. No se lo deseo a nadie, ni a mi peor enemigo, la verdad.
While she was in prison, she requested to see a gynecologist to access birth control and was taken to see Dr. Amin.
Me acosté, ahí quedé. Las esposas me las quitaron y dije yo, ¿qué me van a hacer? Y abrió mis piernas, así fuerte, y yo así dije, ¿qué pasa? Sentí algo muy fuerte que en traducción no supe qué fue lo que... Yo, tú sabes, uno de mujer, le hice así, ay, me dolieron, yo sentí que me dolieron mis ovarios. Se quedó así como apretando los labios. Cuenta que para bajarme de la camilla, yo ya sentía como que me había dejado lastimada por dentro. Fue algo que... terrible.
According to the lawsuit, Dr. Amin diagnosed Kanan with cysts and gave her an injection. Kanan's medical records show that she was given a birth control shot, but she says no one told her what the injection was. A consent form that came with Kanan's medical records was incomplete, missing her name and all in English.
Tú preguntaste, ¿qué es lo que me están poniendo? ¿Qué me van a hacer? Y no te respondieron nada, ni siquiera el traductor ni nadie.
Nada, ella solo dijo, te voy a poner una inyección. Y la curiosidad es que después de que pasa todo esto, yo no he visto resultados. No llegaron los resultados de 2 semanas que iban a llegar. Hasta estando en el centro, yo luché. Se la pedí a mi oficial, se la pedí a los doctores, porque es algo que te queda en la mente, o sea, quistis. ¿Qué tan graves son? O sea, quieres saber qué resultados van a hacer y todo eso, ¿verdad? Tenía miedo porque los oficiales no querían que habláramos del doctor Amin.
Were you scared that if you did speak up, they could deport you?
Yeah, that was like a fear every day. And I still think about it, you know.
You have Black and brown immigrant women at this, extremely vulnerable position at this prison, at the mercy of ICE and the private prison corporation and this doctor. And regardless of what happened to them, their voices were being silenced, and nobody was being held accountable.
Was there a sense that these women couldn't say no to getting treated or surgical procedures by this doctor?
Nobody was telling them about, what was happening. Obviously, there was a language barrier. Nobody made an effort to, convey an explanation about, why was this procedure necessary.
Yo siempre pienso, ¿qué pasó con esas mujeres? ¿Dónde estarán? ¿Si podrán tener bebés? ¿O si se darán cuenta que tienen todas sus partes?
This isn't the first time that Dr. Amin has been accused of billing the government for unnecessary procedures. In 2013, state and federal agencies investigated Amin, the Irwin County Hospital, and several other doctors over allegations of fraudulent billing. The allegations included standing orders from Amin to perform ultrasounds on all pregnant patients, regardless of whether they needed them. The hospital and doctors settled the case in 2015 for more than $500,000 with no admission of guilt. We sent multiple requests to Dr. Amin's lawyer to see if he would speak with us on camera, but we did not get a response.
We're trying to track down Dr. Amin, so I'm going to call his private practice.
Dr. Amin's office, can I help you?
Yes, good morning, ma'am. Do you know when he's going to be in this week?
Well, he's in every day.
He's in every day.
Mm-hmm.
I might stop by today or call back. Thank you so much, ma'am.
We saw Dr. Amin leaving his office and approached him in a nearby parking lot.
We just really want to give you the opportunity to reply because of what all these women are saying.
I don't have to defend myself. I'm doing anything wrong. My daughter is lawyer also. But please, I'm not going to talk with you anything.
Okay.
You can talk with my lawyer if you want to. She's a reporter.
I'm a reporter. Yeah, I wanted a response.
He said, I can't talk. You have to go through my lawyer. And he just insisted, talk to my lawyer. I haven't done anything wrong.
We sent detailed questions to Dr. Amin's lawyer and did not receive a response. Immigration and Customs Enforcement deported some of Dr. Amin's patients, even after they spoke up about what happened to them.
One of the ladies was telling us, I blame Dr. Amin, but I blame ICE.
Right. I mean, these are people in the custody of the U.S. government, and at the end of the day, the buck stops with ICE, and they absolutely failed at this responsibility. Instead of aiding in the investigation, ICE actually was trying to cover its own track by deporting witnesses and survivors to medical abuse. So 6 women were already deported before members of Congress and lawyers stepped in and were able to put a stop to the deportations.
When I seen Dr. Amin for the first time,
Jaromi Navarro was one of the women who was deported. She was a patient of Dr. Amin's at Irwin County. According to the lawsuit, he diagnosed her with cysts following a medical exam and suggested surgery.
So I thought it was so weird, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is so crazy. Like, my entire life, I've never heard of a cyst in my ovaries nearly enough that I'm going to have a surgery for it. Like, this is crazy.
Jaromi did not move forward with the surgery, but she did speak with an attorney about her experience for Don Wooten's whistleblower complaint. The day after it went public, Jaromi says she was confronted by a guard at the facility.
She's like, were you the one who spoke to the lawyer? And I'm like, as a matter of fact, yes, actually, it was me. And she came up to me real close to me, almost to my face, but she was right here. She got next to my ear, and she said, tell me who you spoke with and exactly what you told them. And I was like, oh my God, like, you're crazy, lady. Like, I'm talking about, they had me sign my deportation that day, the 15th, and by the 16th, I was already in Mexico.
Did you think that they deported you after speaking up? Because you were one of the first ones who spoke.
You know, yes, they deported me right after the report came out.
Do you think it was unfair that you got deported?
Yes, I think they moved very quickly and very on the down low. And that I think that what they did that really shocks me is how fast they deported me.
With Jaromi far away in Mexico, her mother, Gina, has been raising her children in South Carolina. Orisha is 9, and Vanessa is 2.
She was a newborn when your mom left?
Yeah, because her first birthday, my mom wasn't there, and for her second birthday, she also wasn't there. We have so much memories with her, and those make me cry all the time, so if we can just have more memories and play together with my little sister, it would be amazing.
Of course. That'd be amazing. And what would you do if you see her? What's the first thing you would do?
I would hug her really tight.
Good morning. Ya estamos tarde.
Jaromi first came to the U.S. at age 7 and barely knows the country where she is now.
Y lloramos mucho. Me dijo, perdóname, te encargo a mis hijas. Ese de te encargo a mis hijas me dolió. Porque yo sentía como que ella se estaba despidiendo. No, yo no decía, no me vas a encargar. Tú vas a venir, vas a regresar. Aquí te queremos, aquí te estamos esperando. Y ahorita, un año después, sé cuál era el propósito de Jaromi. El propósito de Jaromi era, ella tenía que ayudar a tantas mujeres que estaban pasando por una situación que no querían estar pasando ellas. Dile, I miss you, mamá. Ay.
They love the park. That's where we used to go all the time. That was our favorite place.
Ama, I miss you, Jarochis.
Mira, Vane, mira.
Do you regret it, or you think you would do it again?
I would do it again. I would not keep my mouth shut. I would do it again.
The whistleblower complaint that Dawn Wooden and Jaromi Navarro contributed to went viral and captured international attention. That was in part because of a disturbing history of forced sterilizations in the U.S., including in prisons. The complaint also prompted investigations by Congress and the Inspector General of the Department of Homeland Security.
Where are the morals and the standards that we say we uphold? Because we're talking about this place. Where are the morals and the standards? Where's the accountability? Not just locally, but where's the accountability at the hierarchy?
We are somebody's daughter, we are somebody's mom, we are something to somebody. So I just want justice to be served, and I just want our voices to be heard.
I was deported.
All of the women in the lawsuit have either been deported or released. And in May, the Department of Homeland Security announced it would no longer use the facility to detain immigrants.
I'm still trying to understand why.
The women who raised their voices about what happened are still searching for answers.
No se debe de ocultar la verdad, peor cuando hay mucha gente dañada, porque estamos dañadas, la verdad. Y de ahí empecé a analizar y dije yo, ¿por qué nosotros los inmigrantes tenemos ese trato así?
¿Y por qué crees?
Pues pienso yo que por el simple hecho de cruzar una frontera. Pero no se basa en que por qué el inmigrante, por qué cruzar una frontera, si la cruzo es por algo. por algo, por venir a superar. Por ser indocumentado, no mereces ese trato, porque somos seres humanos todos. Por el hecho de que tal vez una nacionalidad te diferencie, eres persona, eres un ser humano.